Welcome back to Wisconsin, everybody. After our second round of Road Course racing action from Motor America, we head just south of Elkhart Lake to downtown Milwaukee for a fan-favorite venue of short-track racing action. Welcome to the One-Up Nitro National Series live coverage from the Milwaukee Mile. I'm Tim Affair with James Ellison, here to bring you all the action. James, it may still be Finn guys like Tommy Motorsports at the top of the standings, but you gotta admit, the Chevrolets are certainly coming into their own as we head to the midpoint of the season.
Absolutely, they're starting to catch up, and no better time to start catching up than right now when things are starting to get interesting. Because if you don't start catching up to those who are dominating early, if there is such a thing, which in this case, obviously, as mentioned, it is the case with Finn guys at Tommy Motorsports. You don't catch them, you might be finding yourself wondering what could have been by when kind of the checkered flag falls at the end of the season.
Absolutely, and certainly Paul Villalobos and Eric DeMack were able to do that at Road America, but a couple other notables not in the Chevrolet Ford camp include Ashton Blevins in the 77 and United Sturgeon in the 57. They were even able to fight amongst each other at Road America, as well as take the fight to the rest of the Chevrolets and Fords late in the race.
And that is very encouraging for the Toyota and Honda camps, because you don't want to see the manufacturers that have been basically the big three make their way to victory lane every single week. With the Hondas, Toyotas have certainly proven themselves in Nitro competition and one-on-one competition as a whole. The Hondas certainly have something to prove, as would, I will say, from experience as an owner of one of those teams, the Mercedes camp. There's still a long way to go, but I fully believe that if there's anyone who can really start making things happen outside the Ford and Chevy camp, it's gonna be coming from those two you mentioned, at least for the start.
Absolutely, and we got plenty of contenders from all those camps looking to make their mark here in Milwaukee. But with that, we can show you how they line up for today's 80-lap feature race. Congratulations to AJ Zhao on its first pole position of the season. He'll be lining up alongside the veteran, alongside the rookie DJ Curtis on the front row. Braden Varga lines up third in the number 9, looking to make something happen for Team Duke, and right beside him, our previous race winner, Paul Villalobos in the 66. Noah Hart lines up 5th in the number 18 for Sanders Performance Autosport, and right beside him is Eric DeMax, our defending champion in the number 16. David Meske and Riley Hooper round out the 4th row, lining up 7th and 8th, and rounding out the top 10, Ashton Blevins in the 77 and Ryan Arnold in the 01, starting just in front of Cameron Lessard in the 54 and Nathan Stapleton in the 97. Few notables, James. We got a couple guys we don't normally see in the Nitro National Series, but they're here today, namely Keon Daly in the number 20, making another start for JHM, as well as Stephen Hunter in the 30, making another start for Stormbreak Motorsports. They're in front of quite a stacked field here, James, but do you think they've got what it takes to run well?
Oh, I believe that they have a chance to run well. We know Keon's got what it takes, and Hunter, well, he wasn't the first champion of what's now the Superstar Series for nothing. And honestly, he wasn't the original driver slated in there, but I believe he'll do a great job in racing against all these others here in the regulars in the field. But I think we really still need to just keep our focus, not just on Finn Tommy, but the others who have really started to show themselves. And one person I'd like to see make a rebound. He's had a good start, had a real dip into a deep valley for the last couple of races. Cody Lamas needs to make a rebound, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he can do that here.
Got a couple notables in the back as well, though. A couple guys who struggled during practice. Angel Gutierrez, who was first in the practice session we had not too long ago, has been struggling throughout qualifying, but that team should know what it takes to get to the front. And Brandon Smith in the 92, basically in the same position DJ Curtis was in the 22 when we were at Charlotte. Do you think both of these guys have what it takes to get to the top 10?
I have no doubt about it. Gutierrez has proven himself a capable racer. Won in the Truck Series and has shown himself capable of doing so here in the Nitro National Series. And could be very strong here today if he can make his way up the front, which the strategy could have to be a factor in that, but also that 72 car is very strong in certain tracks this year so far.
And both of these guys knows how to do it on the short tracks, so we'll have to watch them. But with that, we got 80 laps scheduled for today's race, the Milwaukee Mile. Should be an action-packed one. Don't go anywhere. We're about to get underway. The one-up Nitro National Series at the Milwaukee Mile. Here they come through 3 and 4. It's AJ Zhao and DJ Curtis leading us to the green flag here at the Milwaukee Mile. It's a fan favorite venue and it should prove to bring a lot of action. Will it be Chevrolet, Ford, or somebody else taking the crown today? We're about to find out as the green flag's about to wave. And we are underway from Milwaukee.
Very good launch by Zhao there and Varga. They're not teammates, but they're compatriots in the Chevrolet camp, and they're already moving out ahead of Curtis, who didn't have the greatest launches.
Seems like the outside lane isn't the place to be on the initial starts here. It's AJ Zhao and Brandon Varga, and now it looks like Noah Hart in the 18, looking for third underneath DJ Curtis. We haven't seen Cena perform with Autosports before much this season, but boy, they've got an ace in the hole today, it looks like. And right behind him is David Meskey in the 29, who also might be able to take advantage here.
Yeah, Hart did a decent job for us at what was then Crossroads Racing in the Truck Series. Wasn't the greatest seasons, but seems like he's decided to come back with a vengeance with his signing on at Spa, and what better way to do it than to take it to the fellow rookie who has really shown out here this season.
Right behind DJ Curtis, Paul Villalobos is also struggling up there in that outside lane, but he should be able to get to the inside now, just behind David Meskey and in front of Ashton Blevins. And speaking of which, here comes that 77 right underneath Eric DeMax.
Bringing Ryan Arnold with him. And you see right there behind Arnold, Riley Hooper in the 69 Skittles car. You mentioned the inside line is doing wonders. It has indeed been doing wonders as Meskey goes inside of his teammate.
Side by side, the two Finn guys take Tommy cars fighting amongst themselves. That's allowing the top three to get away a little bit, and it looks like Brayden Varga might be all over the back bumper of the 98. Right now, though, we're focused on this outside lane that's starting to fall back a little bit, but it looks like there might be a gap here for Villalobos and Curtis, as long as Ashton Blevins can't get there to fill it in time.
Well, Blevins going to try. Oh, Villalobos actually decides to not wait on Curtis and just goes. This is not what DJ needed, but it's to be expected considering those two, not only are they not teammates, they're not with the same manufacturer. You don't expect them to work together as Varga tries the outside, which is kind of an interesting move considering he knows that hasn't been working already.
And he's forced to back out of it. That was a battle for the lead there, but AJ Zhao holds on for now. He's led the first 5 laps of this one, but Varga's definitely hungry for it.
Yeah, and he's doing everything he can to stay with him because if he knows that if he can't stay with him, he's trying the outside again. This is interesting. Maybe he's trying to find a way to get some rubber down there and make it work, but he goes back to the inside and tucks in behind the 98 as we look back in the half of the top 5 here.
Yeah, David Meskey and Paul Villalobos are battling right now for 4th. Villalobos already vaults himself into the top 5 after starting on the outside lane and then falling back a little bit, but he puts Meskey and Curtis behind him now. That's great for the 66 team, and right behind him, it looks like Eric DeMax, Ashton Blevins, Ryan Arnold, they're all in this battle.
Yeah, and Ryan Arnold, he needs some great finishes. He's had some good finishes, but honestly, that whole Farraco team's been starting to find their footing. It's not every driver, but they've certainly done a lot there. And looking back there, we see Hooper, we see several others back there. Lassard, I even saw Keon Daly starting to make his way up here.
Right now, I believe he's around 13th position, right in front of Cameron Lassard, and right behind him, there's Cody Lamas in the 48. Really looking for some fortune here in Milwaukee. Looks like Ashton Blevins right now is going to try to clear the max, and he's going to try to bring Ryan Arnold with him.
He's been struggling to get by DeMax a little bit here, but maybe a little bit of an arrow push from the 01 might help him, because even if it would be for selfish reasons, Arnold would probably have no problem pushing that 77 past if it meant giving him a chance to get past both of them.
Right now, though, these two are side by side and fighting for this one. They want to be at least one of the drivers in the top 10 right now, but right now the top 10 battle appears to be between Riley Hooper, Cameron Lassard, Keon Daly and Cody Lamas. It's Lamas trying to find a way around Daly in the 20.
Trying to bring the 97 of Stapleton with him. I saw that car back there is behind his teammate. That's I believe it's a huge deal to see that happening. But they've still got a little ways to go to get in the top 10. But that is a good start.
Right now, though, DeMack's still struggling in that outside lane to get back to Ashton Blevins and clear him, but he might still have something here. That outside lane can be strong if you know how to use it well, but looks like Eric DeMax is just going to fall behind Ashton Blevins. He does not quite clear yet, but it looks like he can be able to clear off turn 4. Yes, he does.
Yeah, a hard fought. Now he can set off and try to catch back up to Curtis, who's got a 2-second gap on him in 6th. Well, Arnold now with a little bit of an arrow push from Riley Hooper. Will that be a big benefit here?
Certainly might be, but DeMax got a really good run on that outside lane. That's going to keep him ahead for now. But Arnold, like we said, really strong down there. As we look back at the front, is still AJ now leading with Braden Vargas second. And it looks like Noah Hart and Paul Villalobos are going to be battling for third here in just a little bit.
As the cameras were switching back up here to the top 2, I couldn't help it. Yeah, you see it right there for a split second out of 2. So the 66 is all over the 18. So, yeah, and here he goes. He's not waiting. He knows that he has to prove that he can compete with the Fingai Saitomi group.
He's looking for a podium here underneath Noah Hart. The spa dominance might not be in effect here, as Villalobos easily cleared the 18 of Noah Hart. That car might be struggling. He might have to watch out for David Meskey before long.
And Meskey's starting to catch, and now that the 66 is by, it could easily put him in the clutches of the 92, which, that is not what anybody wants to see. And I guarantee Noah, if he's enjoying being up here, but would really rather not be losing any more spots at this time.
And Paul Villalobos. Oh, we got a change for the lead. Braden Varga got past AJ Zal just a moment ago. We'll show you a replay here, but that was that must have been an excellently executed pass by the 9.
It was a very well executed pass that we were initially focusing on another battle, but on tracks like this, sometimes there's so many battles you can't always catch them all, and you have to go back and look at replays later, which not a bad deal as long as you know what happened.
Right now, though, Paul Villalobos in third might be catching up to this battle. He got AJ down in his clutches right now, and he might even have the pace to catch Braden Varga. Right now, with the Chevrolet first, second, and third at the moment. The Fingai Saitomi car is currently 5th and 6th. And right behind them, we got a variety of drivers in the top 10 right now. Ashton Blevins, Eric DeMax, and Ryan Arnold, and Cameron Lessard all in the top 10.
Yeah, I noticed Lessard got by Hooper while we were watching all of this go down up here in the podium positions. As you see Zhao, now that he's no longer in the lead, starting to lose touch not only with Varga, but he's starting to fall into the clutches of Villalobos, who, as I said, wants to add to that win column.
And that 66 car is fast. He's already proven that many a time throughout qualifying and throughout races, as right now David Meskey has caught up to the 18 of Noah Hart. He might be making that pass for 4th before long and put Fingai Saitomi just another position ahead of the competition.
And that's what the competition does not want to see. Every position they can put FPM back behind them, it just makes it all the better. But these guys are too good to just sit back and let that happen. They're not going to go down quietly if they start getting overtaken.
And David Meskey, I want to talk about. He's been the quiet one, just slowly getting closer to the front at Fingai Saitomi. He already has accolades of third, and second in the past 3 races since we've been back in the Nitro National Series. Watch out for him, because he might be a top contender for the win before long.
I would agree with that, because there's a whole lineup of talent with that team, and whenever the day comes that one of them is going to be ready to move up, Jeffrey Fingai is going to have a hard time figuring out what to do, especially if his superstar lineup isn't going to change any. As we see, looks like another battle for 10th brewing here.
And that is Hayes Green of 25, who's gotten up to almost the top 10. He needs to get past Lassard to do it, but he certainly looks like he got the pace for it. If we look back to the field, there's Riley Hooper in 69. He's lost quite a few positions since losing the top 10 spot. Keon Daly's gotten by him, as well as Justin Whitmer in the 32. And Cody Lawrence might be next, as we now see a couple of Stormbreak Motorsports cars side by side.
Boston Shaw took over that ride after the departure of the previous driver, and for him to be going up against a veteran, a champion like Stephen Hunter, we just got all of Hunter just managed to lock himself in owner points in Superstar. Now here he is. I mean, obviously he's not on the desirable lane, but having a good run. His rookie teammate just went by him. He's got to be a little bit proud of his teammate for putting an effort to it.
And here's Brandon Smith in the 92. He's made up quite a few positions since the start of this race. We already talk about how fast that 92 is. Guess what? He's almost made it into the top 20. In fact, he might even be in the top 20 at this point. And he's looking for more. He's already gotten past Brie Blair, Andrew Langley, and now he's going after Elijah Ironhouse. And right in front of him, Angel Gutierrez. Same thing. He's made up a number of spots since the start.
And he's still got a long way to go, but he's got plenty of laps to do it. Even though they're pretty short laps, he's got the speed and he's doing everything he can. As you see Terzic back there, not exactly where he wants to be after some of the good runs he's been having.
And I don't think Ironhouse wants to be back here either. The veteran has been having quite a slowdown lately. He might be in his final days of racing here. We'll just have to see. At the 8 car comfortably inside the top 15 as we start to look back through the field now. There's one of the other Mercedes of Jesse Johns for Express Motorsports. He's battling side by side with some of these potential underdog contenders here in the back. Wyatt Junkman, Nagatsuya Kanauka, and here's Mike Edwards in the 12. He's battling with.
There was the 8 player there, Ludovic Charette. See 28, you see 33 there, Justin Henley. Just looking for another good day here. It's not been the greatest of returns to Nitro competition, but he's doing everything he can here as we see Varga not quite got a 1 second lead, but he's almost there. Could be there by the time they go across the line again.
And it's Varga in the lead, Villalobos second, AJ Zal still holding on to the 3rd position, and we look back at this 4th place battle of Noah Hart and David Meske. That's not gone anywhere. We also see DJ Curtis in 6th. And right behind them is the battle for 7th between Ashton Blevins, David Meske, and Brian Arnold. And the battle for the top 10 here is between Cameron Lassard and Hayes Green.
Battle's hit is effectively over as we get to it. Lassard falls back out of the top 10. Green jumps in. That is now 2 spot cars in the top 10, which, they got to be happy about that. But, I've heard team owner Lane Sanders push for more, no matter how good a result it is. It's just the kind of owner he is. But this is still a good result, regardless of what he thinks of how they're doing.
And here's Ashton Blevin and Eric DeMax battling for 7th. Brian Arnold and Neo one also joining this battle. All 3 of these guys have had okay season by their standards, but David Meske, I'm sure he's happy to be up here in the 16. He's done well at Road America, but since our return, he's not had some very good finishes.
And DeMax is doing everything he has to do here to keep himself relevant. He doesn't want to be considered in a champion slump. We've seen runner-up slumps, we've seen champion slumps. He does not want to be among the number of the latter, or either of them, really. So he's fighting for every position he can right now. As you see, he's currently sandwiched between 2 really strong drivers.
And we talked about Ashton Blevins. He's been pretty consistent lately in terms of finishes. Ever since the Charlotte race where he didn't do very well, he's actually been putting on some strong finishes. He finished 2nd at Hawaii, and he also finished 7th at Road America. So this kid's got something to prove here. The former MMT driver definitely giving it his all here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, he didn't become a champion in the inaugural modified season for nothing, and Revolution Racing saw that. Vargas specifically from that team, as the team owner saw it, as we see quite the cluster of cars here. You see Whitmer, you see Daly. You see Boston Shaw having a very good run here today, and of course the 99 there, Nick Breeding, is trying to do everything he can as Hooper continues to slip backwards.
Whitmer clears for 12th, Daly up to 13th, and like you mentioned, Boston Shaw up to 14th. As we see these drivers, these are all drivers that have needed some okay days for a while. They're doing pretty well here, especially Boston Shaw in the 31, and right behind him, Nick Breeding in the 99, also trying to get a good finish out of this. As I also noticed, Brandon Smith and Angel Gutierrez are up here in this battle. They're trying to get themselves into the top 15.
I saw Smith right there. Looked like he was starting to get ready to battle Shaw's teammate Stephen Hunter back there in the 30. But as we continue to look at Shaw, honestly, I will admit his future with this team has been in doubt. But regardless of where he goes from here, with whether he stays with us or moves on, I think I'd like to see him look back at Milwaukee and be happy that he got a good result out of it. Which he's not done marching forward yet, just like Lamas and Gutierrez here.
And this is the battle for just outside of top 15. And like I said, Angel Gutierrez and Brandon Smith up here trying to make something happen, but they're gonna have to get past the two battling side by side here, Coley Lamas and Riley Hooper, which it looks like Hooper's been falling back quite a bit since the start. I wonder if there's some kind of gremlin going on in the 69 car.
Could just be the tire fall off has really affected me. After all, he is also on the side that, while it's probably rubbing in a little bit now, is still doesn't seem to be that desirable. And of course, Smith trying to figure out what to do here, as looks like Stephen Hunter might be trying to get back up here and see if he can't regain a couple of lost spots from this mess.
There's a lot about going on here as we're going almost 3 wide. Little bit of contact right there, I think, between Elijah Ironhouse and Brie Blair. And right in front of them, I think he was trying to defend from both of those drivers.
Yeah, that was almost a pinch maneuver. And we've seen drivers in 3 wide and be offset just enough that someone gets turned to the wall and the two on their outside get caught in the middle of it all, and all of them have a ruined day, which thankfully that did not happen with those 3.
We look back toward the front there, Justin Whitmer coming toward the front, and look at this, Eric DeMax has cleared off from Ashton Blevins and Ryan Arnold. He's proven that the 16's got speed, and he's made his way up to 7th, and he's starting to catch this battle up here between David Meskey and Noah Hart, as well as DJ Curtis in the 22s, right behind them.
I was going to say, he's got to catch Curtis and pass him in order to catch that battle ahead of the 22. But speaking of catching, Paul Villalobos, I said he's got something to prove despite the win last time out, but he's, excuse me, pardon me, he's really catching up here, little by little.
He is. That 66 car is fast, and he could go for 2 in a row here in Wisconsin, as we see Ryan Arnold and Ashton Blevins now. They are now battling for the 8th position right now as we look back through some of the field here, and there it is. Angel Gutierrez and Brandon Smith both getting past Cody Lamas in the 48. This 48, by the way, I don't know if Cody Lamas is too happy with his performance since our return. He's got 2 wins to his name, but since Charlotte, it's really been a mixed bag for this 48 team.
I have heard that he is a little perturbed by the results since we've returned, but he's not giving up. You see it here, even as he's about to get passed by Stephen Hunter here.
Yeah, I'm sure Fitzwater Australia would love for him to be doing better, but for a rookie, he certainly had some good accolades to his name, as we see Brandon Smith in the 92 still trying to catch up to this field, as well as Angel Gutierrez, who's leading Brandon Smith right now. These two, not only are they in their own interlock battle, but they're playing catch up right now, and these two are almost in the top 20. Or almost in the top 15.
They got a lot of work to do. Yeah, they got a lot of work to do as we look at Keon Daly, Boston Shaw, and Nick Breeden. I wouldn't say they're content to run single file right now, but I think they've recognized they don't have anything for each other at this moment and are trying to save their stuff. But Shaw might be getting ready to set up the 20 here for a second here. It looked like he was closing in.
We do have one scheduled pit stop for this race as we approach lap 40. We're probably going to be seeing them sometime soon, but right now everybody just content to run single file for a little bit here. But they also might be trying to set up their own battles, especially within the top 20 and maybe even the top 25.
Yeah, this get every position it can because if pit stops when pit stops come into play, it could easily it could easily mix up everything, and position going in could factor into when you come out of the pits, whether or not, depending on whether you do overcut or undercut or right in the middle, that could play a big factor with positions.
Here's Nathan Stapleton in the 97, who's been I wouldn't say he's in a little bit of a slump, but since Hawaii, his last finish of Road America was, I believe, just inside or just outside the top 15, which I don't think he was happy with. And right now, he is currently outside the top 20, and I don't think that 97 is going anywhere anytime soon. As we see Ryan Arnold and Ashton Blevins now side by side, that's for I believe, the 8th position.
And I couldn't help but notice as we were a little bit further back, looking at what was going on with other position drivers back toward the back half of the top 20. Stephen Hunter was under threat from the 21 of Langley, which, every position counts, even if you're just here for fun.
But right now, Ryan Arnold clears Ashton Blevins in the 77, and Hayes Green in the 25 is now joined this battle. He's looking for more than 10th position, which would already be good for that 25 team, but I think he's looking for more.
And he wants to be up there where his teammate is, and even with the pit stop looming, he wants to get every position he can and hope that he doesn't lose anything coming out of the pits. But right now, I would say Varga has definitely locked up most laps led. Villalobos, even if he steals the win away from him, which he hasn't done that yet, will not be able to steal the points for most laps led.
And that gap between him and Braden Varga has shrunk to 0.3 of a second. And I noticed another thing that might affect this. That is lap traffic. We saw Nate Champion in the 04, Mike White in the 58. These two are catching up to some of these backmarker teams here, and that could play a role in who wins this race as we approach pit stop sometime soon. I believe it was around 48 laps, 50 laps that these guys can maintain. So we'll have to see what happens here. But right now, Eric DeMax catching up to DJ Curtis in the 22. We could see a battle for 6th lining up here.
Yeah, and he wants every position he can because, like I said, he wants to prove that he's not in a post championship slump. Because he's had some rough times, but he's picked back up quite a bit, and he really, really wants to remind people why he got that title last year.
And he's already looking underneath the 22. That 16 car is fast right now, especially on these longer runs. DJ Curtis, I don't know, he might be good on the shorter runs. They might have expected more caution during this race, but right now we've seen none going into this as DeMax forced to back out as that outside lane actually starting to come into its own a little bit, it looks like.
Yeah, it's definitely proving to have rubbered in some, which, that was to be expected as the race went on. In the early running there, Curtis did not like the outside, and a lot of cars did not like being on the outside, but rubber has come in a little bit. Things have picked up a little bit. The groove has gotten a bit more grip from that. And right now, Curtis doing everything he can to hold off 16.
That battle for 6 not going away anytime soon, as right now, Eric DeMax is all over DJ Curtis, but I think we got green flag pit stops. It looks like the 9 is starting to drop off a little bit. We'll have to see if we continue to focus on this battle.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how this plays out, because if it's just the 9 coming in at the moment, that could play real big, but it's hard to say as we continue to look back at the back half of the top 10, which the whole field hasn't really shuffled all that much. It's got me really wondering as we watch the 32 and the 54 battle it out here.
And they're gonna be battling for 11th position. It looks like, and we got more contenders on pit road. Here we go. This is the cycle we were talking about. Noah Hart's in the pit lane. I saw Stephen Hunter in there. David Meskey as Braden Varga just exited the pits. He's right now, I think, behind AJ Zhao in the 98, but we'll have to see where he comes out in relation to Villalobos, who I believe is on the pit lane right now. He's currently the leader, but he's going to have to make a pit stop sometime soon, and there he is, the 66, coming down pit road.
Yeah, we see Brie Blair. Yeah, we see Green. We saw the 31 of Shaw, and Hart is on just coming up here right now. And you see all the drivers that have already made their stops just getting out here. We'll see how things work out for the 66. As you see, Curtis is in now, White, Tegan Fox,
Yeah,
and here comes Villalobos out. So let's see where he comes out.
we'll see where he is in relation to Braden Varga. Where is that 9 car as the 66 starts to round turns 1 and 2? There is the 9. I believe he's going to have the lead here, and he does. Paulo Lobos exits the pit lane, but he's going to be behind Braden Varga. We'll see if that affects who wins this race.
Now we keep in mind the 66 is going to have the freshest tires, even if it's just by a couple of laps. So we'll have to see how that factors into if the 66 can catch, as we still await the cycle to finish so we can see where everyone cycles out.
All of the cars in the back of the field are now making their way down pit road. As we see Nick Breeding here in the 99, he might have had a slow pit stop. He's coming out, I think, just behind Justin Whitmer and Brandon Smith, who are side by side here. They're gonna get side. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Brandon Smith not giving Justin Whitmer any leeway there. That 92 is certainly a competitor, but they're going to exit pit road right here, and I think Brandon Smith is going to immediately try to get past Justin Whitmer on fresh tires.
Yeah, I don't think they're too thrilled with each other on that one, but if there's no further issues, they might be able to just brush it off and move on, but that was certainly a little bit dicey for a second.
Spoke on pit road. That is Brian Arnold in the 01. I believe that team has reported a clutch failure on that 01 team. I think his day is done.
And that is very upsetting to think about, because he was doing so well, and we weren't talking about him too much, so I can't say commentators curse, but that team needs something. That you just can't be feeling, you can't help but feel sorry for them for that one.
And once you know it, the leaders have exited pit road, the cycle is complete, and we have a ton of lap traffic now spread throughout this field, especially between Braden Varga and Paul Villalobos. We'll have to see how that affects the battle, as David Metzke has vaulted himself up to third after being around 4th through 5th position. He's gotten ahead of AJ Zhao, Eric DeMax, and DJ Curtis, and I see Noah Hart has dropped all the way back to 9th.
Hayes Green jumped up a couple spots here, and the 20 of Keon Daly. I had a feeling he was going to try to get up here at some point, but the pit cycle certainly helped. But here he is, knocking on the back bumper of the 18s, reminding him, "Hey, I'm here."
Dare I say, that 20 car is bad fast today, especially in relation to the 18 of Noah Hart, as he's trying to get past him here. I believe for the 9th position now, as we focus on this battle.
Yeah, it's not really much of a battle yet. It is a fight for position that is going to start heating up here. I think the 20 keeps trying to make a peak, but Hart keeps shutting the door. He'll get by at some point, I'm sure.
And Keon Daly in the 20. This is only, I believe, his 3rd start in the 20, but he's already showing that he's got what it takes. As right behind him, it's Angel Gutierrez in the 72. We already said that car was going to be fast today. He might be knocking on the door of the top 10 before long.
And we saw him battle with a couple of others just off the pit cycle, but now he seems free and clear of competitors. As yes, you are right, he is catching. I think the 18 is holding the 20 up, and if he can't get by, he and Hart might find themselves both passed here.
Another driver, Cody Lamas, I believe, had to make an extra pit stop in that 48 car. We find him 2 laps down now in that 48 car, and he's fighting his way through some of the backmarker teams trying to catch back up, but not the day the 48 team needed, I'm sure.
And he's currently looking at the back bumper of, as it's already well spoken of, future Alliance teammate Ludovic Schret there. This is not where you would expect the 48 to be after the runs he had early in the season, but still plenty of time left to rebound. Just gonna have to take this one and make every lap and every position he can gain count.
We look back up front, Paul Villalobos in the thick of lap traffic, including his teammate Riley Hooper in 69. Surprised to see him back here. He's going to have to get past him to try to get to Braden Varga, who's now gotten that gap up to almost a second.
It was over a second for a little bit, but before catching up to his teammate here, 66 Villalobos, he did get it back down, but if he can't get by the 69, and okay, he still cut it down, and Hooper's cutting him a break here, being a good teammate. So I think Varga better start sweating here, because that 66, once he clears his teammate, he is gunning for him.
He needs to get as many lap cars between him and Villalobos as possible if he stands any chance here. And the same goes for a lot of these guys. A lot of lap traffic mixing into this, as we see Hayes Green has just gotten past Ashton Blevins, I believe, for the 7th position. And now he's going to be setting after DJ Curtis.
That position from Blevins, I think.
Yeah, I think he's defending that position from Blevins, who's still, once again having a really good day. He might be in for another top 10 here.
Yeah, he's looking to do something here, and you got to give Hayes Green props. He signed on with Spa. We didn't know what to expect with him doing so, but here he is. Not always having the greatest runs, but here at Milwaukee, he's certainly showing that he has what it takes. Not only for the series, but with Spa, as right now the battle for the top 10 rages on.
And here comes Angel Gutierrez looking for a top 10 spot. He's going to get it from Keon Daly, and he might even get 9th place from Noah Hart if this keeps up. As Brandon Smith also right behind them, he's also trying to catch up and get this top 10 spot away.
He just got by Boston Shaw, but honestly, these guys keep fighting to try to get by Hart. That could bring Smith and Shaw up here, and it could really get interesting for the final top 10 spots.
Noah Hart definitely going to be defending for his life, but against someone like Angel Gutierrez, who we know has a fast car today, I don't know if that's possible, but right now he's putting up a pretty good defense against the 72. But you got to also watch Keon Daly and also that 92 of Brandon Smith. He's been fast all season, and he might be in for a top 10 despite starting, I believe, outside the top 30.
Yeah, he's looking to salvage every point he can. If he can get a top 10, that'll salvage a lot for him. But he still has at least 2 of these 3 cars to get past in order to make that happen.
And Angel Gutierrez from 30th place, now in the top 10 finally, and looking for more. That 72, he might be one of the lesser known of the Robbers Racing drivers, but let me tell you, that 72 car, he knows how to make that thing fast on a regular basis.
Absolutely, he's got speed, and like I said, he showed it in the Truck Series. He's won in the Truck Series. Matter of fact, he had a great result with his little venture. That was because of how things are playing out now with permission from the one-up officials. He was able to bounce between Portland and here and got a great result out there. The truck's there, so he's looking really strong here and he's holding on to that top 10 spot right now.
Actually might get it from Noah Hart here for the ninth position, and that will knock this 18 back into the top 10, potentially into the clutches of Brandon Smith, who's also fighting his way towards the top 10. Right now, though, we look at the front as 0.2 of a second, and now the gap may even be less than 0.2 coming across here. Actually, it's 0.3 now. Braden Varga, I think, is starting to feel the pressure. He's trying to push that 9 car as hard as he can.
Yeah, you could hear the Jaws theme even as we were watching other battles. And yeah, it's getting intense here as we come down to about 14 to go.
And Villalobos is there now. He's all over the back bumper in that 9 car. He's trying to make it 2 for 2 in Wisconsin. And right in front of them, lap traffic might play into this, that 7 car of Nagasugu Kanalka is getting closer.
Yeah, Kanalka not exactly having the greatest of days. But I don't think the fact that he's currently in front of the battle for the win is going to make him feel any better, especially because he's got a cluster of other cars ahead of him that he cannot seem to get by in order to keep himself from getting lapped.
And right now we're focusing on Chris Lattimore in the 3, who I think you mentioned before, dropped down to the Nitro National Series to see if he can make something happen, but right now I don't think it is, because he's in the midst of, I believe, a top 30 or so battle with 2 Game Breaker cards and a Varenko card. I don't think so. He's not having the best of results, but right now we're focusing on this lead battle as Villalobos. Oh, we tried to have a look there, but nothing there yet, as I believe Varga is the one getting held up right now.
Yeah, I think Varga was trying to get inside of Kanalka to kind of make it difficult for Villalobos to get by, but Kanalka is going after the 3 of Lattimore, which that's just opening up the door. As you see right here, right now, lead change imminent.
And Villalobos used Lattimore as a pick, and he ran with it, especially with Kanalka holding up the 9 card. These two are now side by side, and they're in front of another battle at side by side currently. 2 by 2, and Villalobos potentially going to the lead.
He's gonna get a lap led here, and it looks like he's gonna clear Varga. As I couldn't help but notice, looking at the back half top 10, while these 2 different battles for position are going on in close proximity, the 92 of Smith has found the top 10.
And he might be going after Angel Gutierrez, finally getting past that 72. Right now, they're a tenth apart. We'll have to see how that battle plays out. But right now, it's Villalobos to the lead, and he's trying to get clear lap traffic, but Braden Varga not letting him get away. At least not yet.
Yeah, well, now Varga's got to deal with Hooper, who's a lap down, but also still pretty strong. Lattimore and Kanalka really hindering Villalobos here. That might open the door for Varga to steal this back from the 66.
He looked outside, but there's nothing there as Lattimore, his teammate, takes up that bit of space that Varga was looking for. I don't think those 2 teammates really appreciated that.
Oh no, but it looks like Lattimore's starting to relent a little bit here. He let off on the 66. Seems like he might be trying to let the 9 by, but it's not looking like it's working out too well, as the 69 back there is also making things difficult.
And that is allowing Paul Villalobos to get away from Braden Varga. He's now extending that gap. I believe it's going to be 3 or 4 tenths coming across the line here. But he's still got Nagatsuki Kanalka to get past, who actually was able to get past those guys that he was fighting with. As we see, the gap is now 7 tenths. Oh my, that's 66. Now that he's out in front, he's trying to let those horses loose here. As we get under 10 to go. Right now, I believe it's 8 to go right now.
Coming to 8 to go, we're about to come down to 7 to go as Varga finally clears his teammate. I'm pretty sure that if he cannot get back to the 66 and he ends up finishing second, I'm sure he's going to have a few choice words for Lattimore. But right now, Villalobos looks like he finally got by Kanalka as we continue to look through the rest of the field.
He's extending that gap now, so we're going to focus back here on some of these other guys. Here's Eric DeMax getting in the top 5. DJ Curtis has fallen back to 6, it looks like. And Ashton Blevins, I believe, has gotten past Hayes Green, the 25, to the 7th position. And here, Brandon Smith and Angel Gutierrez, they've gotten up to the top 10 finally. And I believe Brandon Smith, at this point, now that he's salvaged all he can, he should try to get one more and get past that 72 of Gutierrez.
Really should, as you saw the 20 of Keon Daly there. He fell back. He is no longer in the top 10, but still not super far back. This is really all important for Smith because, like we've talked about, I think I say Tony Motorsports is trying to make sure they still stay dominant.
Absolutely. If he can get past the 72 Gutierrez, that'll be Fingai Seikomi cars, unbelievably, 3rd, 6th, and 9th at the end of the day, if Brandon Smith can get past the 72. And here's Ashton Blevins. He's once again getting another good run here as the ace of the short tracks, as we know from the modified tour, is really showing what he's got in this 77 car.
And he's showing why he got signed on, not just for that modified trophy that's sitting in his trophy case, but he's showing everything. He's showing that he can do it, even when he doesn't win, even if he's not racing for a championship. As saw right there, Villalobos was in a bit of traffic there with Aiden Clare ahead of him, and here's an interesting little scuffle going on here.
Yeah, that's Cody Lama and Wyatt Junkman. Right now, Lama is just not just trying to salvage all we can in that 48 car. But being 2 laps down, I think he's pretty much stuck back in 40th place. The only car he's ahead of right now is Brian Arnold in that 01. That's certainly not going to help the 48th case. But right now, as you mentioned, Villalobos have caught up to even more lap traffic, who's scuffling right now, trying to get all the positions they can before the end of this one. Especially Aiden Clare, who's trying to catch up and get past some of these guys who might be not quite as fast as him.
Yeah, you do everything you can to stay on the lead lap. We saw it at previous races. We saw it. I believe it was Hawaii where Justin Henley was just barely lapped right at coming to the checkered. But if you're right in front of the leader in the final laps, you do everything you can to keep from being shown as a lap down in the final standings, even if being a lap down doesn't affect your points position when you don't lose anything else.
Here they come to the white flag. Paul Villalobos is gonna see that white flag, and he's got one more lap to try to defend from Braden Varga. He's just gotten past David Richardson. Still some lap cars in front of him. Right now, we're focusing on this battle between Hayes Green, Angel Gutierrez, and Brandon Smith, all for the 8th spot. But right now,
it looks like that's going to be settled out.
But right now, we're waiting on Paul Villalobos. He's coming through turn 4 now. And Paul Villalobos, the king of Wisconsin, the number 66, is going to get another one here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's big. You make a statement like that. And, he had a lot stronger. We talked about it before. He had a stronger on the trucks. Had some strong runs here in Nitro before his upset win of the Superstar, and now he's broken through and not only won in Nitro, but he's now solidified that he not only belongs, but will be a contender for week upon week to come.
Congratulations to Paul Villalobos. He gets his 2nd consecutive win here in Milwaukee. Braden Varga coming up just short, but he'll take a 2nd place, I'm sure. Is David Mesky who comes home in 3rd, as he just managed to miss a little scuffle going on between Lamas and Junkman. But H.A. Dow finished 4th, Eric DeMax in 5th, DJ Curtis at the end of the day comes home 6th, Ashton Blevins in 7th, Hayes Green comes home in 8th, Angel Gutierrez in 9th, and Brandon Smith wasn't quite able to get past Gutierrez, but I'm sure he'll take a top 10 at the end of the day, as, well, I think we might have a few words exchanged after this. A couple of drivers not figuring out how to get into this pit road.
Yeah, it's very interesting here. And I got to give a big shout out to several drivers here, including one of my own. I am going to put the owner cap on and toot the team's horn here. Good job, Boston Shaw. Good run for him. He needed that. The team needed that. But same can't be said for a lot of different drivers throughout this field. But Villalobos, can't say enough about the job he did here. But what a heartbreak for Varga.
That 9 car, I'm sure, going to get a win sometime soon. He definitely proved he has what it takes here in Milwaukee, but I guess Villalobos was just too fast here, but Villalobos solidifies himself as the king of Wisconsin. We also got to give a shout out to David Mesky. Once again, another top 3 finish for that 29 car.
And again, while it wasn't a win for Finguy Saitomi, a triple top 10 could just keeps them up there, keeps reminding the competition, even as some of them start catching up, that they are not going to go away, that they are here to hold up and trying to hold strong and make sure that it's a fight to the final checkered flag of the season later this year.
But that is going to do it for us from Milwaukee. We'll see you next time as we head to the Oswego Dirt Circuit for some dirt track racing action here at the Nitro National Series. Congratulations to Paul Villalobos on getting yet another win here in Milwaukee. But from James Ellison and for myself as well, that is going to do it for our coverage. We'll see you next time.